Welcome, children, to a session of our English class. This is about a short story written by Satyajit Ray. Satyajit Ray was an Indian filmmaker. He was a Bengali filmmaker and he made many films of international repute. This is a story of Fritz, and it is a horror story in which a man named Jayanto returns to his childhood house and recollects all his informations, all his remembrance about his stay in that special place. So let's see what is in the story. Jayanto and his friends, they have been planning to visit a place called Bundi in Rajasthan. So generally we don't uh, think about that place which has least importance. Generally, when we go to visit a place, it has to be of a greater amount of uh, historical importance, like Chittor, Jaipur, Udaipur. These cities are of a lot of historical importance. We have hardly heard of Bundi, but Jayanto insists on visiting to Bundi, and lastly, they all go to Bundi for a visit. Now, Jayanto's friend, that is the narrator, has already heard about Bundi in a Tagore's poem, The Fort of Bundi. So they all go to visit Bundi, and on the way, Jayanto recalls some of the incidents and he says that yes, once when his father had a visit to Bundi, because his father was in the archaeological department and he had always to go to visit the historical places. So Jayanto, when he was 6 years old, he went with his father to the place Bundi, and now he wanted to go after 31 years and wanted to see what the changes have taken place. They stayed in a circuit house and he recalled that yes, everything was the same in the circuit house. So hardly there was a change except of the electric poles. Now they were once they once went for their sightseeing tour to the town in Bundi, and they saw all the things that were in the fort. Suddenly, it was Jayanto when he went uh, back, he wanted to come back to his house, and the author who still wanted to visit the place, the fort in Bundi, had to come back just because of Jayanto. Jayanto went for a stroll in the garden after tea, and suddenly he stopped walking and said Deodar and started staring at it. So they had to see, and Jayanto's friend, the narrator, wanted to know what was about the Deodar tree. Then he said, then they went on for a dinner that night, and he remembered that when he came 31 years back, he the cook who used to cook their food was named Dilavar, and he had a scar on his left cheek, and his eyes were always red, but his cooking was excellent. Janto's memories gradually began returning one by one, and soon after the dinner, they went to their drawing room and sat for a while and remembered what his father used to do and what his mother used to do. That is, his father used to smoke a cheroot, his mother used to knit, and there were some magazines on the table. Now he recalled the whole business about his doll. So, since dolls are such a toys that even only the girls love to play with. But Janto's uncle brought a wonderful doll from Switzerland. It was 12-inch long figure and it was dressed in a traditional Swiss style. So Jento was really very much affected by the doll, and he was told that if he would call him Fritz, then only he will get the response. So since then, his its name was Fritz. Now the conversation gradually faded out, and they went to their bed. So everything was uh, a stake, and Jento fell silent, and they looked at the watch and saw that it was 9:30, and it was the oil lamp burnt in the room, and they went in the room to sleep. So Jento was still deep in thought, and his answers to the questions came so late that by the time the narrator started to think that he had not heard him at all, he was fast asleep. So later that night, while they were asleep, then what happened? Suddenly there was a noise, and uh, the narrator woke up. Then when he woke up, he found that Jento was all awake. So he asked what was the problem. Wasn't he feeling well or something? But Jento, uh, instead of answering him, asked a question. Do you think this circuit house has got small animals like cats or mice? So the narrator said maybe there may be some cat or mice. So Jayantho said that yes, something walked over my chest and that woke me. So he said yes, maybe rats and mice must have been coming out of the drains and they must be climbing on the bed. So this went on for some time. They kept on searching for what was in the room, and they kept on watching everything. So they both started searching the mice or whatever the animal was, but they couldn't find anything. But as soon as Shankar, the narrator, started searching into the bathroom, then Jayanto immediately shouted and called him back and told him to look at the quilt. What they see? They saw the footsteps on the quilt, small footsteps of some animal. They were only 2 feet that were printed on the quilt. Soon it struck Jayanto, and he was really shocked. Now they were in search of this, and then uh, Jayanto related everything about the Fritz. He told that one day when he was having his tea in the morning, the and his doll was with him. Suddenly, the cup of tea spilled on him, and he immediately went to change his clothes. When he returned back, he found that Fritz had been taken away by some stray dogs and was torn away. This is really shocking for him, and he was very sad at the scene. He took the doll with him, and then, with the English custom, he decided to bury it under the Deodar tree. So then he took the doll with him because it was a doll brought from the European countries, and then it was to be buried in as per the Christian rule. This is what he told Shankar, and Shankar, in order to console him that there is nothing of that sort that is so fearful, He said, let's go to the Deodar tree and see whether everything is okay or not. So, if you have buried the doll there, maybe some metallic remains on the doll must be there. So, they decided that they will call the gardener who looks after their garden, and they will go to the Deodar tree and find whatever is in it. Then they saw the gardener coming towards the garden, and they said that yes, you have to do a certain work, that you have to dig the ground and see what is under the Deodar tree. So, in order to console Jayanto, the gardener was taken to the Deodar tree, where he dug deep, about 8 inches deep under the Deodar tree. What they found, that was really shocking. So, if you will know, they found that there lay the skeleton of a 12-inch long, pure white, perfect little human being. It was a skeleton that really frightened everywhere. So everybody was frightened. This is what is all about the story. So, children, it is really a very nice story and very interesting, very horrifying. So, this is all for now. Have a nice day. Bye bye.